had to listen to everyone who wants to tell us what's wrong with this country. We never get our work done. Now keep hold of her, and I'll make sure she keeps her mouth shut.
They are hurting me. Tell them to take their dirty hands off me.
Dirty hands, eh? Come on, miss. The least you can do is try to be polite. Look at me, I'm polite.
Tell them to let me go. I shan't run away. My father was King Oedipus. I am Antigone.
King Oedipus' little girl. Well. Listen, miss. The night watch never picks up a lead, but they say you better be careful. I'm sleeping with the policeman.
I don't mind being killed, but I don't want them to touch me.
And what about sticks and dirt and such like? You wasn't afraid to touch them, was you? Oh, their dirty hands. Look at your own hands. You must have lost your shovel, didn't you? Had to go at it with your nails the second time over that. I never saw such nerve. I turn my back for about 5 seconds. I ask a pal for a chew. I say thanks. I get the tobacco stowed away in my cheek. The whole thing doesn't take 10 seconds, and there she is, clawing away at the dirt with both hands, right out in broad daylight. And did she scratch and kick when I grabbed her? Right for my eyes with the nails she went, yelling something fierce about, I haven't finished yet, let me finish. She ain't got all the marbles.
I pitched nothing like that the other day. Right on the main square she was, hoisting up her skirts and showing her behind to anyone that wanted
to take her. Listen, we're gonna get a bonus for this. What do you say we throw a party? The 3 of us.
At the old woman's beyond Market Street?
Suits me. Sunday would be a good day. We're off duty Sunday. What do you say we bring our wives?
No! Let's have some fun this time. Bring your wife if something always goes wrong. First of all, what do you do with the kids? Bring them, and they always want to go to the can when they're in the middle of a game of cards or something. Listen, who would have thought an hour ago that the 3 of us would be talking about throwing a party right now? The way I felt when the old man was interrogating me, we would have been lucky to get the doctor month's pay. I want to tell you, I was scared.
You're sure we're going to get a bonus?
Yes, something tells me this is big stuff.
What's his name? You know, in the 3rd Battalion? He got an extra month's pay for catching a fire.
Oh, if we get an extra month's pay, I vote we throw the party at the Arabians.
You're crazy. He charges twice as much for liquor as anyone else in town. Unless you want to go upstairs, of course. Can't do that at the old woman's.
Well, we can't keep this normalized, no matter how you do it. You get an extra month's pay. And what happens? Everybody in the battalion knows it. And your wife knows too. They might even line up the battalion and give it to you in front of everybody. So how could you keep your wife from finding out?
Well, we'll see about that. They do the job out in the barrack yard. Of course, that means women, kids, everything.
Oh.
I should like to sit down, if you please.
Let her sit down. Now keep hold of her. Attention!
Take out those handcuffs. What is this?
The watch, sir. We all came this time.
Who is guarding the body?
We sent for the relief.
But I gave orders that the police was to go back to the barracks and stay there. I told you not to open your mouths about this.
We haven't told nobody, sir. We made this arrest and brought the party in, just the way you said we should.
Where did these men find you?
Right by the body.
What were you doing to your brother's body? You knew what my orders were.
What was she doing? Sir, that's why we brought her in. She was digging at the dirt with her nails. She was trying to cover up the body all over again.
Do you realize what you were saying?
Sir, ask these men here. First thing I did when I got back, we uncovered the body. Then, with the sun was coming up and it was beginning to smell. So we put him on a little rise to get him in the wind. Of course, you wouldn't expect any trouble in broad daylight, but just the same, we fought one man that better keep his eye peeled all the time. Then around noon, what with the heat and as I wasn't feeling none too good, I asked a pal for a chew. I just had time to say thanks and turn around when there she is, clawing away at the dirt like a hyena, right out in broad daylight. And wouldn't you think that when she saw me, she'd stop and leg it out of there? Not her. She went right on digging, as if I wasn't there at all. And when I grabbed her, she scratched and bit and clawed at me and yelled that she hadn't finished yet, that the body wasn't covered yet, and the like of that.
Is this true?
Yes, it is true.
We uncovered the body as fast as we could. Then we sent for the relief and we posted them. But we didn't tell them a thing, sir. And we brought the party in so you could see her. That's the whole truth, so help me God.
Was it you who uncovered the body the first time? In the night?
Yes, it was. With the toy shovel we used to take to the seashore when we were children. It was Polynesi's own shovel. He had cut his name in the handle. That's why I left it with him. But these men took it away. So the next time I had to do it with my hands.
Sir, she was clawing away like a wild animal. Matter of fact, first time I saw her, what with the heat and everything, my pal says, that must be a dog, he says. And dog, I says, that's a girl, that is. And it was.
Very well. Show these men to the answer. You three men will wait outside. They want to report from you later.
Do I put the cuffs back on her, sir?
No. Had you told anybody what you meant to do?
No,
Did you meet anyone on your way coming or going?
no, nobody.
Sure of that, are you?
I'm perfectly sure.
Very well. Now you listen to me. You will go straight to your room. When you get there, you will go to bed. You will say that you are not feeling well, that you have not been out since yesterday. Your nurse will tell you the same story. I'll get rid of those three men for you.
Uncle Creon, you are going through a lot of trouble for no good reason. You must know that I will do it all over again tonight.
Why didn't you try to bury your brother?
I owe it to him.
I forbidden it.
I owe it to him. Those who are not buried run eternally and find no rest. If Polynesius were alive, and he came home weary after a long stay of hunting, I should kneel down and unlace his boots. I should fetch him food and drink. I should see that his bed was ready for him. Polynesius is home from the hunt. I owe it to him to unlock the house of the dead in which my father and my mother are waiting to welcome him. Polynesius has earned his rest.
Polynesius was a rebel and a traitor, you know it.
He was my brother.
You heard my edict. It was proclaimed throughout Thebes. You read my edict. It was posted up on city walls.
Of course I did.
You knew the punishment I decreed for any person who attempted to give up burial.
Yes, I knew the punishment.
Did you, by any chance, act on the assumption that a daughter of Oedipus' stubborn pride was above the law?
No, I didn't act on that assumption.
Because if you had acted on that assumption, Antigone, you would be deeply wrong. Nobody has a more sacred obligation to obey the law than those who make the law. You are a daughter of lawmakers, a daughter of kings, Antigone, who must observe the law.
Had I been a scullery maid washing dishes when the law was read aloud to me, I should have scrubbed the greasy water from my arms and gone out my apron to bury my brother.
But nonsense! If you had been a scullery maid, there would have been no doubt in your mind about the seriousness of that edict. You would have known that it meant death. You would have been satisfied to weep for your brother in your kitchen. But you think that you come on the royal line, that you are my niece, and you're going to marry my son? I shouldn't dare have you killed?
You were mistaken. Quite the contrary, I never doubted for an instant that you'd have me put to death.
The pride of Oedipus and his headstrong pride all over again. I can see your father in you, and I believe you. Of course you thought I should have you killed. Proud as you are, it seems to you a natural climax in your existence. Your father was like that. For him, as for you, human happiness was meaningless, and mere human misery was not enough to satisfy his passion for torment. You come of people for whom the human vestment is a kind of straitjacket. It cracks at the seams. You spend your lives riddling to get out of it. Nothing but a cozy tea party with death and destiny will quench your thirst. The happiest hour of your father's life came when he greedily listened to the story of how, unknown to himself, he had killed his own father and dishonored the bed of his own mother. Drop by drop, word by word, he drank in the dark story that the gods had destined to him. first to live and then to hear. How avidly men and women drink the brew of such a tale when their names are Oedipus and Antigone. It is so simple afterward to do what your father did, to take one's eyes out, and to take one's daughter begging on the highways. Let me tell you, Antigone, those days are over for thieves. Thieves has a right to a king without a past. My name, thank God, is only Creon. I stand here with both feet firm on the ground, both hands in my pockets, and so long as I'm king, being less ambitious than your father was, I shall merely devote myself into introducing a little order to this absurd kingdom, if that is possible. And don't think that being a king seems to me romantic. It is my trade, a trade a man has to work at every day. And like every other trade, it isn't all beer and skittles. But since it is my trade, I take it seriously. And if tomorrow, some wild and bearded messenger walks in from some wild and distant valley, and he tells me that he's not quite sure who my parents were, and that Eurydice was actually my mother, I shall ask him to do me the kindness of going back to where he came from, and I shan't let a little matter like persuade me to order my wife to take a blood test, and police to let me know whether my birth certificate was forged. Kings, my girl, have more important things to do than surrender themselves to their private feelings. And you will be killed. I have other plans for you. I want you to marry Haman. And I want you to fatten up because you can give him a sturdy boy. Let me assure you that keep thieves needs that boy a good deal more than he needs your death. You will go to your room now, do as you've been told. You will not say a word about this to anyone. And don't fret about the guards. I'll be sure that their mouths are shut. And don't annihilate me with those eyes. I know you think that I'm a brute, and you must consider me very prosaic, but the fact is, I've always been fond of you. Stubborn, they always were. Don't you ever forget that the first doll you ever had came from me. Where are you going?
You know very well where I'm going.
What sort of games are you playing?
I'm not playing games!
Antigone, do you realize if apart from those 3 guards, a single soul finds out what you've tried to do, it'll be impossible for me to put you to death?
Those men uncovered my brother. I must go back and bury him.
What good will it do? There are other men standing guard over Polyneices, and even if you did cover him up with earth again, the earth again would be removed.
I know that. I know all that. But that much, at least I can do. And what a person can do, a person ought to do.
Tell me, Antigone, do you really believe all that flummery about religious burial? Do you really believe that a so-called champion of your brothers condemned to wander forever homeless, till earth is not flung on his corpse to the accompaniment of some priestly abracadabra? You ever listened to the priests of Thebes when they were mumbling their formula? You ever watched those dreary bureaucrats as they prepare the dead for burial, skipping half the gestures required by the ritual, swallowing half their words, hustling the dead into their graves out of fear that they might be late for lunch?
Yes, I've seen all that.
And did you never think to yourself that if someone you really loved lay there dead, under the shuffling, mumbling ministrations of the priests, you would scream aloud and beg the priest to leave the dead in peace?
Yes, I've thought all that.
And you still insist upon being put to death? Merely because I refused your brother to go out with that grotesque passport? Because I refused his body to the wretched consolation of the mass production jibber-jabber, which you would have been embarrassed by the allowed it? This whole thing is absurd!
Yes, it's absurd.
Then why, Antigone, why? For whose sake? For the sake of them that believe in it? To raise them against me?
No,
For whom then, if not for them, and if not for Polyneices either?
for nobody, for myself.
You must want very much to die. You look like a trapped animal.
Stop feeling sorry for me. Do as I do. Do your job. But if you're a human being, do it quickly. That's all I ask of you. I'm not going to be able to hold out forever.
I want to save you, Antigone.
You are king. You are all-powerful. But that you cannot do.
You think not?
Neither save me nor stop me.
Prideful Antigone, little Oedipus!
Only this you can do. Have me put to death.
Have you tortured, perhaps? this little play of yours, and your son to the harem will be damn little mischief maker. You don't drive me too far. If I was one of your little preposterous tyrants that grease was full, you'd be lying in a dish this minute with your tongue pulled out and your body drawn and quartered. You see something in my face that makes me hesitate to send for the guards and to turn you over to them. Instead, I'll let you go on arguing. You taunt me and you take the offensive. What are you trying to get, she-devil?
Let me go. You are hurting my arm.
I will not let you go.
No!
I was a fool to waste words. I should have done this from the beginning. I may be your uncle, we're not particularly affectionate family, are we, huh? Are we? What fun are you, huh? Still to spin in the face of the king who has all the power in the world? A man who has done his own killing in his day? A man who has killed people just as pitiable as you are? And who is still soft enough to go through all this trouble in order to keep you from being killed?
I wear squeeze my arm to tighten. It doesn't hurt anymore.
I shall save you yet. God knows I have enough things to do without having to worry about an insect like you. There's plenty to do, I assure you, if you just put down the revolution. But urgent things can wait. I am not going to let politics be the cause of your death. First, the fact that this whole business is nothing but politics. The mournful shade of Paul Nices, the decomposing corpse, the sentimental weeping, and the hysteria you mistake for heroism, nothing but politics. Look here. I may not be soft, but I am fastidious. I have things clean, ship-shape, well scrubbed. Don't think that I am not just offended as you are by the thought of that meat rotting in the sun. In the evening, when the breeze comes in off the sea, you can smell it in the palace and it nauseates me. But I refuse to shut my window. It's vile. And I'll tell you what I wouldn't tell anybody else. It's stupid. Monstrously stupid. But the people of Thebes have got to have their noses rubbed in a little longer. My God! If it was up to me, I should have had to bury your brother long ago as a mere matter of public hygiene. And I admit that what I'm doing is childish. But if the feather-headed rebel I govern are to understand what's what, the stench has got to fill the town for a month!
You are a loathsome man!
I agree. My trade forces me to be. We can argue whether I ought or ought not to follow my trade, but once I take on the job, I must do it properly.
Why do you do it at all?
My dear, I woke up one morning and found myself the king of Thebes. God knows I had other things in life I love more than power.
You should have said no.
Yes, I could have done that, only I felt that would have been cowardly. I should have been like a workman who turns down a job that has to be done, so I said yes.
So much the worse for you then. I didn't say yes. I can say no to anything I think vile, and I don't have to count the cost. But because you said yes, all that you can do for your crown, and your guards, and your trappings, all that you can do is have me killed.
Listen to me.
If I want to. I don't have to listen to you if I don't want to. You said your yes. There is nothing more you can tell me that I don't already know. You sit there drinking my own words. Why is it that you don't call on your guards? I'll tell you why. You want to hear me out to the end, that's why.
You amuse me.
Oh, no, I don't. I frighten you. That's why I talk about saving me. Everything would be so much easier if you had a docile, tongue-tied little Antigone living in the palace. I'll tell you something, Uncle Creon. I'll give you back one of your own words. You are too fastidious to make a good tyrant. But you're going to have to put me to death today, and you know it. And that's what frightens me. God, if there's anything uglier than a frightened man.
Very well. I am afraid then. Does that satisfy you? I'm afraid that if you insist upon it, I shall have to have you killed. And I don't want to.
I don't have to do things that I think are wrong. But if it came to that, you really didn't want to leave my brother's body unburied, did you? Say it, admit that you didn't!
I have said it already.
But you did just the same! And now that you won't admit it, you're gonna have me killed! And you call that being king?
Yes, I call that being a king.
Poor Creon! My nails are broken, my fingers are bleeding, and my arms are covered by the welts left by the paws of your guards! But I am a queen!
Then why not have pity on me and live? Isn't your brother's corpse rotting there underneath my windows, payment enough for peace and order in Thebes? My son loves you. Don't make me add your life to the payment. I've paid enough.
No, Creon. You said yes and made yourself king. Now you will never stop paying.
But God in heaven! Won't you try to understand me? I'm trying hard enough to understand you. There had to be one man who said yes. Somebody had to agree to captain the ship. She had sprung 100 leagues. She was bloated to the waterline of crime, ignorance, and poverty. The wheel was spinning with the wind. The crew refused to work at removing the cargo. The officers were building a raft, ready to slip overboard and desert the ship. The mast was splitting. The wind was howling. The sails were beginning to rip. Every man Jack on board was about to drown, and only because the only thing they thought of was their own skins and their cheap day-to-day traffic. Was that time, do you think, for a man to be playing with words like yes or no? Was that a time, do you think, for a man to be weighing the pros and cons? Wondering if he wasn't going to pay too dearly later on? If he wasn't going to lose his life? Or his family? Or his touch with other men? You grab the wheel, and you right the ship in the face of a mountain of water. You shout an order, and if one man refuses to obey, you shoot straight into the mob. Into the mob, I say! The beast is nameless as the wave that crashes down upon your deck, as nameless as the whipping wind. The thing you shoot that drops may be someone that poured your drink the night before, but it has no name. And you, braced at the wheel, you have no name either. Nothing has a name, except the ship and the storm. Now, do you understand?
I'm not here to understand. That's all very well for you. I'm here to say no to you and die.
It is easy to say no.
Not always.
It is easy to say no. To say yes, you have to sweat. And roll up your sleeves and plunge both hands into life up to the elbows. It is easy to say no. Even if saying no means death. All you have to do is sit still and wait. Wait to go on living. Wait to be killed. That is the coward's part. No is one of your man-made words. Can you imagine a world in which trees say no to the sap? In which animals say no to hunger or to propagation? Animals are good, simple, tough. They move in droves, nudging one another onward, all traveling down the same road. Some of them may keel over, but the rest go on. And no matter how many may fall down by the wayside, there are always those few left that go on bringing their young to the world, traveling down the same road with the same obstinate will, unchanged from those who went before.
Animals. Crayon? What a king you would be if only men were animals.
You despise me, don't you? Strange. Again and again, I imagine myself holding this conversation with a pale young man I've never seen in the flesh. He would have come to assassinate me and would have failed. I'd be trying to find out why he wanted to kill me, but with all my power and with all my logic and all my powers to debate, the only thing I could get out of him was that he despised me. Who would have thought that the white-faced boy would turn out to be you? And that the debate would arise out of something so meaningless as the burial of your brother.
Meaningless?
And yet, you must hear me out. My part is not a heroic one, but I shall play my part. I shall have to put you to death, but before I do, I want to make one last appeal. I want to make sure that you know what you are doing, as well as I know what I am doing. Antigone, do you know what you're dying for? Do you know the sordid story in which you are going to sign your name in blood for all the time to come?
What story?
A story that Cecles and Polyneices. The story of your brothers. You think you know it, but no. Nobody in Thebes knows the story except for me. And tonight, it seems to me that you have the right to know it too. It's not a pretty story. You'll see. But first, tell me, what do you remember about your brothers? They were older than you, so they must have tormented you. Pulled your pigtails, broke your dolls, whispered secrets to each other to put you in a rage.
They were big and I was little.
And when they came home, wearing their evening clothes, smoking cigarettes, they would have nothing to do with you. You would have thought that they were wonderful.
They were boys and I was a girl.
You didn't know why exactly, but you knew that they were making your mother unhappy. You saw her in tears over them, and your father was flying to rage because of them. You heard them come in, slamming doors, insolent, spineless, unruly, smelling of drink.
Once, it was very early and we just got up. They were coming home and I hid behind the door. Polynices was very pale and his eyes were shining. He was very handsome in his evening clothing. He saw me and he said, "Here, this is for you." And it was a big paper flower that he had brought home from his night out.
Of course you still have that flower. Last night, before you crept out, you opened your drawer and looked at it for a time, to give yourself courage.
Who told you so?
Poor Antigone with her nightclub flower. Do you know what your brother was?
Whatever he was, I know he will say vile things about him.
A cheap, idiotic bounder, that's what he was. A cruel, vicious little voluptuary. A little beast with just enough wit to drive a car faster and throw away more money than any of his friends. I was with your father one day when Polynices, having lost a lot of money gambling, asked your father to settle the debt. When your father refused, the boy raised his hand against him and called him a vile name.
That's a lie!
He struck your father in the face with his fist. It was pitiful. Your father sat at his desk with his head in his hands. His nose was bleeding. He was weeping with anguish. And in the corner of your father's study, Polynices stood sneering, lighting a cigarette.
That's a lie!
When was the last time you saw Polynices? When you were 12 years old? That's true, isn't it?
Yes, it is true.
Now you know why. Oedipus was too chicken-hearted to have the boy locked up. Polynices was allowed to go off and join the Argive army. And as soon as he reached Argos, the attempts upon your father's life began. The life of an old man who couldn't make up his mind to die, couldn't bear to be departed from his kingship. One after another, men slipped into thieves from Argos for the purpose of assassinating him. And every killer we caught always ended up confessing who had put him up to it, who had paid to try it. And it wasn't only Polynices. That's really what I'm trying to tell you. I want you to know what went on in the back room, in the kitchen of politics. I want you to know what took place in the wings of this drama in which you are burning to play a part. Yesterday, Anticles was given a state funeral with pomp and honors. Today, Anticles is a saint and a hero in the eye of all thieves. The whole city turned out to bury him. School children emptied their savings boxes to buy wreaths for him. Old men, orating and quavering, hypocritical voices glorified the virtues of the great-hearted brother, the devoted son, the loyal prince. I gave a speech myself, and every temple priest was present with an appropriate show of sorrow and solemnity in his stupid face, and military honors recorded to the dead hero. Well, what else could I have done? People had taken sides in the Civil War. Both sides could be wrong. That'd be too much. I couldn't have made them swallow the truth. 2 gangsters is more than a luxury that I can afford. That is why I'm telling you this story. Anticles, that virtuous brother, was just as rotten as Polynices. That great-hearted son had done his best too, to procure the assassination of his father. That loyal prince had also offered to sell thieves to the highest bidder. Funny, isn't it? Polynices lies rotting underneath the sun, while Anticles is given a hero's funeral and is housed in a marble vault. And yet, I have absolute proof that everything Polynices did, Anticles had plotted to do. They were a pair of blackguards, both engaged in selling out thieves, and both engaged in selling out each other. They died like the cheap gangsters that they were, over division of the spoils. But, as I told you a moment ago, I had to make a martyr of one of them. I sent out for the Holocaust for their bodies. They were found clasped in one another's arms, for the first time, I imagine. Each had been spitted on the other's sword, and the Argive cavalry had trampled them down. They were matched to a colt, Antigone. I had the prettier of the 2 carcasses brought in, and I gave it a state funeral. And I let the other 2 rot. I don't know which was which end, I assure you. I don't care.
Why do you tell me all this?
Would it have been better to let you die than that same story?
It might have been. I had my faith.
What are you going to do now?
I shall go to my room.
Don't stay alone. Go and find Haman and get married, quickly.
Yes.
All this is really beside the point. You have your whole life ahead of you, and life is a treasure.
Yes.
Don't think me fatuous if I say that I understand you and that at your age I shouldn't have done the same thing. A moment ago, when we were quarreling, you said that I was drinking in your words. I was, but it wasn't you I was listening to. It was a lad named Creon who lived here in Thebes many years ago. His skin was pale, and he was thin like you are. His mind too was filled with thoughts of self-sacrifice. Go and find Haman and get married, quickly. Life is like water. You young people let it run through your fingers. Shut your hands and hold on to it, Antigone. Life is not what you think it is. Life is a child playing around your feet. A tool you hold firmly in your grip. A bench you sit down upon in the evening in your garden. People will tell you that that's not life. That life is something else. They will tell you that because they need your strength and your fire and they want to make use of you. Don't listen to them. Believe me, the only poor consolation we have at our old age is to understand that what I've told you is true. Life is nothing more than the happiness that you get out of it.
Happiness?
Not much of a word.
What kind of happiness do you foresee for me? Paint me the picture of your happy Antigone. What are the unimportant little sins that I shall have to commit before I'm allowed to sink my teeth into life and tear happiness from it? Tell me, to whom must I lie? Upon whom must I fawn? To whom must I sell myself? Whom do you want me to be dying while I turn away my eyes?
Antigone, be quiet.
Why do you want me to be quiet? When all I want to know is what I have to do to be happy. This minute, since it is this very minute that I must make my choice. You tell me that life is so wonderful. All I want to know is what do I have to do in order to be able to say that myself?
Do you love Haman?
Yes, I love Haman. The Haman I love is hard and young, faithful and difficult to satisfy just as I am. What if I love a Haman is to be worn away like the stone set by the tread of life, by the thing you call happiness? When Haman reaches the point where he stops growing pale with fear, stops thinking that I must have been killed in an accident when I'm 5 minutes late, stops feeling that he's alone on earth when I laugh, and he doesn't know why. If he too has to learn to say yes to everything, why no! Then no, I do not love Haman!
You don't know what you're talking about!
I do know what I'm talking about! Now it is you who have stopped understanding! I am far too away from you now, talking to you from a kingdom you can't even get into, you with your quick tongue and your hollow heart. I laugh, Creon, because I suddenly see you as you must have been at 15. That same look of impotence in your face, and that same inner conviction that there was nothing you couldn't do. What is life added to except the lines in your face and the fat on your stomach?
Be quiet, I tell you!
Why do you want me to be quiet? Because you know that I'm right? Do you think I can't see in your face that what I'm saying is true? You can't admit it, of course. You have to go on growling and defend the bone you call happiness.
It is your happiness too, you little fool!
I spit on your happiness! I spit on your idea of life! That life must go on! Come what may! You are like all the dogs that like everything they smell! You with your promise of humdrum happiness! Provided a person doesn't ask too much of life! I want everything of life! I do! And I want it now! In total, complete! Otherwise, I reject it! I will not be moderate! And I will not be satisfied with a bit of cake you offer me if I promise to be a good little girl! I want to be sure this very day that life is as beautiful as when I was a little girl. If not, I want to die.
Scream on, daughter of Oedipus! Scream on in your father's own voice!
In my father's own voice? Yes, we are the tribe that asks the questions, and we ask them to the bitter end, until no tiniest chance of hope remains strangled by our hands. We are the tribe that hates your hope, your docile female hope. Hope, your whore!
Shut up! If you could see how ugly you are shrieking those words!
Yes, I am ugly. Father was ugly too. But father became beautiful. And you know when? At the very end. When all his questions had been answered. When there was no doubt in his mind that he had killed his own father, and that he had gone to bed with his own mother. When all hope was stamped out like a beetle. When knows absolutely certain that nothing can save him. Then he was at peace. Then he could smile, almost. Then he became beautiful. Whereas you, those faces of yours, you candidates for election to happiness, it is you who are the ugly ones, even the handsomest of you, with that ugly glint in the corner of your eyes, that ugly crease in the corner of your mouths. Creon, you spoke the word a moment ago. The kitchen of politics. You look it and you smell of it.
I order you to shut up, do you hear me?
You order me? Cook, do you really believe that you can give me orders?
Antigone, the antroom is full of people. Do you want them to hear you?
Open the doors! Let's make sure that they can hear me!
By God, I order you to shut up!
Antigone! You too? What is it you want?
Antigone, forgive me. I've come back. I'll be brave. I'll go with you now.
Where will you go with me?
Creon, if you kill her, you have to kill me too.
Oh no, Ismene, not a bit of it. I die alone. You don't think I'll let you die after what I've been through? If you don't deserve it.
If you die, I don't want to live. I don't want to be left behind.
You chose life. I chose death. Now stop blubbering. You had your chance to come out with me. To get on your hands and knees pulling up the earth as I did. Getting yourself caught like a thief as I did. And you refused it.
But I need more. I'll do it alone tonight.
You hear that, Creon? The thing is catching. But who knows, so lots of it, people will catch the disease from me. What are you waiting for, Creon? Call on your guards. Come on, Cook, show a little courage. It only hurts for a moment. Come on, Cook!
Guard!
At last, Creon!
Take her away.
You are out of your mind, Creon! What have you done?
She had to die.
You must not let Antigone die. We shall carry the scar of death for centuries.
She insisted. No man on earth was strong enough to dissuade her. Death was her purpose, whether she knew it or not. Paul Nices was a mere pretext. And when she had to give up that pretext, she found another one. That life and happiness are tawdry things not worth possessing. She was bent upon only one thing, and one thing only. To reject life and to die.
She's a mere child, Creon!
What do you want me to do for her? Condemn her to live? Father! Haman! Forget Antigone, Haman. Forget her, my dearest boy.
How can you talk like that?
I did everything I could to save her, Haman. I swear I did. I used every argument. I swear. She could have gone on living for you. But she refused. She wanted it this way. She wanted to die.
The guards are dragging Antigone away. You've got to stop them.
I can't stop them. It's too late. Antigone's spoken. The story's all over thieves. I cannot save her now.
Creon, you must find a way. Lock her up. Say that she's gone mad.
The nation will say that isn't so. Everybody will know that the only reason why I'm doing this is because my son loves her. I cannot.
You can still get time. Get her out of Thebes.
The mob already knows the truth. It is howling for her blood. I can do nothing.
But you're a master in thieves.
I am master under the law, not above the law.
You cannot let Antigone be taken away from me. I am your son.
There's nothing I can do, my poor boy. She must die, and you must live.
Live, you say? Live a life without Antigone? A life in which I am to go on admiring you as you busy yourself about your kingdoms, make your persuasive speeches, strike your attitudes? Not without Antigone. I love Antigone. I will not live without Antigone.
Haman, you will have to resign yourself to life without Antigone. There comes a day of sorrow in each man's life when he must cease to be a child and take up the burden of manhood. That day is coming for you.
That giant of strength, that courage, that massive God who used to pick me up in his arms and shelter me from shadows and monsters. Was that you, Father? Was it of you I stood in awe? Was that man you?
But God, my God, Haman, cannot judge me. Not you too.
This is all a bad dream, Father. You are not yourself. It isn't true that we have been backed up against the wall, forced to surrender. You have no right to desert me, to shrink into nothingness. The world shall be to bear, I shall be to alone in this world, if you force me to disown you.
The world is fair, Haman, and you are alone. You must cease to think your father all-powerful. Look straight at me. See your father as he is. This is what it means to grow up and be a man.
I tell you that I will not live without Antigone.
Creon! The boy will go mad!
Poor boy, he loves her.
Creon! The boy is wounded to death!
We are all wounded to death.
Soon the people are crowding into the palace.
Creon, I don't want to see their faces. I don't want to hear them howling. You were going to put me to death. Let that be enough. I want to be alone now until it is over.
Enter the palace! Guards at the gates!
It's you, is it?
What do you mean, me?
The last human face I shall see. Was it you that arrested me this morning?
Yes, that was me.
You hurt me. There was no need for you to hurt me. Did I act as if I was trying to escape?
Come on now, miss. It was my business to bring you in. I did it.
How old are you?
39.
Have you any children?
Yes, 2.
Do you love your children?
What's that got to do with you?
How long have you been in the guard?
Since the war. I was in the army. Sergeant. Then I joined the guard.
Is one had to be an army sergeant to get into the guard?
Supposed to be. Either that or on special detail. But when you join the guard, you lose your stripes.
I see.
Yes, and when you're in the guard, everyone knows you're something special. Take pay, for instance. When you're a guard, you get your pay, and on top of that, you get 6 months extra pay to make sure you don't lose anything by not being a sergeant anymore. And of course, you do better than that. You get a house, coal, rations, extras for your wife and kids. If you got 2 kids like me, you draw better than a sergeant.
I see.
Now that's why sergeants, they don't like guards. Maybe you notice they're trying to make out they're better than us. Promotion, that's what it is. In the army, anyone can get promoted. All you need is good conduct. Now in the guard, it's slow, and you have to know your business, like how to make out a report and like that. But when you're an old NCO in the guard, you've got something even a sergeant major can get. For instance...
Listen.
Yes, miss?
What if he dies?
For instance, people have a lot of respect for guards. They have. A guard might be a soldier, but he's kind of in the civil service too.
Do you think it hurts to die?
How would I know? If someone sticks a saber in your guts and twists it round, of course it hurts.
How will they put me to death?
Well, I'll tell you. I heard the proclamation already. In order that our fair city shall not be polluted with her sinful blood, she shall be immured. Immured, that means they shut you in a cave and wall up the cave.
Alive?
Yes.
Oh, Tomb. All right of that, all alone.
Yes, outside the southeast gate of town, in the cave of Hades, in broad daylight. Some detail, eh?
Pair of animals.
What do you mean, a pair of animals?
The winds blow cold. All they have to do is press against one another. I am all alone.
Is there anything you want? I can send out for it, you know.
We're very kind. Yes, there's something I want. I want you to give a letter to someone for me after when I'm dead.
That again, a letter?
Yes, I want you to write a letter to someone, and I want you to give it to someone for me.
Right, now hold on a second, take it easy. It's as much as my job as work to go handing out letters for prisoners.
I'll give you this ring if you will do it.
Suppose they go through my pockets. I might get 6 months for a thing like that. Listen, I'll tell you what I'll do. You tell me what you want to say, and I'll write it down in my book. Then when this is all over, I'll give it to the party. See if it's in my handwriting, it's all right.
In your handwriting? No, that would be awful. In your handwriting. The poor darling.
Okay, it's no skin off my nose.
No, of course. Keep the ring. And hurry, time is getting short. Where's your notebook? Ready? Right now. My darling.
Boyfriend, eh?
My darling. I wanted to die. And perhaps you will not love me anymore.
Will not love me anymore.
Creon is right. It is terrible to die.
Terrible to die.
And I don't even know what I'm dying for, I'm
Hold
afraid.
on a second. How fast do you think I can write?
Where are you?
And I don't even know what I am dying for.
No, scratch it out. Nobody must know that. They have no right to know that. It's as if they saw me naked after I was dead. Scratch it all out. Just write. Forgive me.
I cut out everything you say there at the end and put down forgive me.
Yes. Forgive me, my darling. You all have been so happy except for Antigone. I love you.
I love you. Is that all?
That's all.
Damn funny letter.
I know.
Who's it to? Okay, that's enough on you. Come on, let's go.
And now it is Creon's turn. The Queen! The Queen! Where's the Queen? What do you want with the Queen? What do you have to tell the Queen? News to break her heart. Antigone had just been thrust into the tomb. They had not yet finished heaving the last blocks of stone into place when Creon and the crowd heard a sudden moaning come forth from the tomb. A hush fell over the crowd, for it was not the voice of Antigone. It was Haman's voice that had come forth from the tomb. Everybody looked at Creon as he yelled like a man tormented. Take away the stones! Take away the stones! The slaves leaped at the wall of stones, and Creon worked with them, sweating and tearing at the blocks with bleeding hands. Finally, a narrow opening was forced, and into it slipped the smallest guard. Antigone had hung herself by the cord of a robe, by the red and golden cord of a robe. It was wrapped around her neck like a child's collar. Haman was on his knees, holding her in his arms and moaning, his face buried in a robe. More stones were removed, and Creon entered the tomb. He tried to raise Haman to his feet. I heard him begging Haman to rise to his feet, but it was of no use. Haman was deaf to his father's voice until suddenly he stood up of his own accord, his eyes dark and burning. There was anguish in his face, but it was the face of a little boy. He stared at his father, then struck him hard and drew a sword. Creon leaped out of range. Haman went on staring. Eyes full of contempt, a glance that was like a knife that Creon could not avoid. The king stood trembling in the far corner of the cave. Then Haman stabbed himself and laid down, embracing Antigone, in a great pool of blood.
I've had them laid out side by side. They're together at last, and at peace. Two lovers on the morrow of their bridal. The work is done.
But not yours, Creon. You still have one thing left to learn.
Eurydice, the queen.
Your wife.
A good woman, always busy with her garden, her preserves, her sweaters. Those sweaters she never stopped knitting for the poor. Strange. Well, the poor never stopped needing those sweaters. One would almost think that was all they needed.
The poor and thieves are going to be cold this winter, Creon.
When the queen was told of her son's death, she waited calmly until she put down her knitting, and as she did everything.
Then she went to her room